Hello everyone, I'm Shruti Agrawal and today I'll talk about Majorana fermions and why people think that they can be used as a qubit. This video is a part of my term paper under Dr. Gautam Sheet. Fermion is a particle which has a definite mass, half-ordered integer spin and follows Fermi-Dirac statistics, such as an electron. In this video, sometimes I might refer them as Dirac fermions to distinguish with the Majorana fermions. Now, in my second quantized notation, Cj dagger creates an electron in j orbital while Cj annihilates the electron from j orbital. Majorana fermions are the particles who are their own antiparticles. They were first hypothesized by Sir Ettore Majorana in 1937. One can go from Dirac to Majorana basis by a simple transformation such as this one. This represents a filled state by C dagger. This represents an empty state by C. But these states can neither be interpreted as filled nor as empty states by gamma 1 and gamma 2. Now consider a 1D fermionic superconducting chain. I can label the physical sites or the Dirac fermionic sites as 1, 2, 3 and so on. And as seen earlier, for each Dirac fermion, I have two Majorana particles. So these small circles represents Majorana fermions. The Hamiltonian for this will contain three parts: energy added by each fermion, energy caused due to the hopping to adjacent sites, and the interaction responsible for superconductivity. Now, if I apply a transformation like this, I can transform my Hamiltonian into this form. Here I have assumed delta to be spatially homogeneous, which need not be true. But that will not change the result. I take it only to simplify things. Now consider the first special case where mu is not equal to 0 but t is equal to 0 and delta is also equal to 0. Once again, delta need not be 0. It is only to simplify mathematically. In this case, since t is equal to 0, Majorana will bind within the Dirac fermionic sites, and this is the trivial case for superconductor when delta is not equal to 0. Now let's consider another interesting case where mu is equal to 0, t is non-zero, and once again, to simplify things mathematically, it is equal to mod delta. Now here, since hopping is allowed, Majorana will bind among the sites and thus two of them will be left behind. Since these sites do not contribute energy to the Hamiltonian, they are having effectively zero energy, and thus they are also known as Majorana zero modes. Now notice, no matter how I compress or deform this chain, I will not lose the result until and unless I glue these ends, such as this one. I glue the ends and form a ring. In this case, the Majorana of first site and the last sites also bind together and I lose the Majorana zero mode. So my result changes. And once again, no matter how much I deform this ring, until and unless I cut it from somewhere or glue it to some other place, my result will not change. That means the topology is playing a role here. Now one can go and find any topological invariant such as Chern number or winding number, and what they'll find that it is different for this ring and different for the chain. Now notice my Hamiltonian does not change if I interchange my Cj dagger and Cj with each other. This is called particle hole symmetry. What this means is the graph of my energy is always symmetric around E is equal to 0, since particles are considered to have positive and holes to have negative energy. So neither of such states are allowed because they do not respect the symmetry. That means if these states represents the edge Majoranas and I have a local perturbation, for example at this site, none of these states can happen. The only state in which it can go is this one, that is increase the energy to one side by some amount and decrease the energy by same amount to the other side. But remember, my perturbation is local, so the fermion at this side is not receiving any information about the perturbation happening here, and hence this fermion will retain to energy E is equal to 0. And that is the reason that Majorana fermion at this site would be compelled to be at E is equal to 0. That means that my states are protected. They are reliable. Wow, so they can be used as a qubit to store the information. Okay, that's alright. But can we operate on them? Yes, we can. Now consider this. This is my quantum wire. I take a superconducting vortex and I wrap it around. Now if you remember the transformation I have done, my gamma operator would flip their sign. My C dagger operator and C operator would flip their sign. What this means that the fermionic parity has changed. Now if I represent my state with even number of fermions as 0 and my odd number of fermions as 1 state, this means that 0 state goes to 0 and my 1 state flips its signs. This is similar to Z operator. In this language of spins, it is sigma Z, where sigma is my Pauli matrix. Now consider another operation where I am doing similar thing but only around one edge. In this case, only one of the gamma, let's say gamma 1, would flip the sign while gamma 2n will not flip the sign. In this case, the parity of my old fermions would change. That is, my 0 state would go to 1 state and my 1 state will go to 0 state. Now this is an X operation. And once again in spins language, it is sigma X, where sigma is Pauli matrix. So cool. We have found some states which are reliable, protected from local perturbations, and we can operate on them too. So what are we waiting for? The only problem is that we haven't found them in real materials yet. Thank you.